So we are here to discuss about how to write an advanced level essay. Are we together? Yes. So why are we studying this? We are studying this topic because if you cannot write an essay in a formidable manner, you score below average marks, of which it is something which is not good, because the more you keep on scoring marks that are below 18 and marks that are below maybe 17, at the end of the day you get poor grades. Are we together? So how to write an advanced level essay? You have to know that an advanced level essay is divided into 3 parts. That's the first impression or the first thing you need to know. An advanced level essay, it is divided into 3 main parts. Are we together? Right. But before you venture or before you take note of knowing the major aspects or the major 3 aspects we are going to discuss now, you need to know that in your essay you are reminded of good punctuation, you are reminded to use good grammar, you are reminded also to use good conclusive devices, good introductory statements and whatsoever for you to convince the examiner. So these 3 parts include: number 1, we have what we call an introduction. Are you together? Yeah. What is an introduction? We said that an introduction, it is a short detailed summary or a short detailed essay which is written in a brief, and its mandate is to bring the conclusion, or its mandate is to disclose the major aspects we are going to discuss or we are going to evaluate in your essay. Are you together? So what you need to know is that each and every paragraph, whenever you are writing an introduction, it must be between 5 to 10 lines. There is no an introduction which can be written below 5 lines or a maximum or above 10 lines. Are you together? It is not allowed to do that. Are you together? So in an introduction, we said it is a short detailed essay or a short detailed paragraph which is written to show or to evaluate the scholars or a candidate's views and evaluation. So we have 3 types of introduction which I prefer most. 3 types of introduction which I prefer. Right. The first and foremost introduction I call it what we call a general approach. A general approach. What is a general approach type of an introduction? It is an introduction in which you can write your information in a general way, in a general perspective. Are we together? Say, for example, you said in your notes, it is an introduction which is written in order to reflect the essay in a general perspective. I'm just coming to your notes so that you can see that we are also together. Even though I use the different type of language which is not in your notes, it's still the same. Are you together? So, for example, other individuals, they can say to a greater extent, what, listen. Are we together? Yeah. Right. Then we have what we call signpost approach. Each and everyone here know what is a signpost. A signpost is something which can be sited or situated maybe at the main entrance or whatsoever in order to recite visitors or any individuals who are passing by about the school or about the shop or about whatsoever. For example, if Seke Teachers College, it has got a signpost, it is written, "Welcome to Seke Teachers College." They just reflect that this is the teachers college. But it is now your mandate, if you know that, it is now your mandate, if you know that you want to recite or you want to aspire to be a teacher, it is now your mandate to go and ask the requirements. Are we together? So this is the type of an introduction in which you are entitled to use. For example, if you recite your introduction in a signpost approach, the examiner will have the eagerness, will develop a desire to see or to observe what are the main aspirations in which this candidate is trying to evaluate or to highlight. Are you together? For instance, one might give an example of a signpost approach in a formidable aspect, as I am going to do. As we are going to revise this question, I'm going to show you how to use a signpost approach. Then the third one, which is very funny but good to us, we have said general approach, then we have signpost approach. The third one, we have what I call mini skate approach. Everyone knows, especially girls, they know what is a mini. A mini is just a short skate which is very short and precise, but it is covering the essentials. So we cannot say someone who is wearing a mini is someone who is naked. No. She's just putting on something to cover the essentials. So this is the basic elements of a essay. You can just put very short and precise words, but they are covering the essentials. They are there to cover the main aspect of the topic. That's the signpost approach. So in terms of this introduction, you must be very careful in your articulations. How to get? Then we are moving on. From introduction, we have what we call the body. The body of an essay is the major aspects, or it is one of the major elements in which you need to know or you need to aspire each and every time. So the body of introduction, it is made up of several paragraphs. It is made up of several paragraphs. It is made up of several paragraphs that are entitled or that are ascribed or that are initiated for you to collect information in a chronological order. The purpose of the body of an essay is to put information together from one major point to the other major point up until your essay is combined together. So it is allowed to use several aspects. For instance, in advanced level essay, it must have at least 10 well-explained points. At least 10 well-explained points. That's the major aspect. At least 10. You might use at least 7 to affirmative side and 3 points to non-affirmative side in your ratio. Or you can say 6-4, but 7-3 I think is something good for you. Or 5-3. It depends on your analytical approach. Guys? So, how to write the body of an essay? I have developed or I have come up with the formula or a shortcut in which I call PESA system. What is a PESA system? A PESA system, it is an abbreviation in which I've developed. P represents a point, E represents explanation, S represents supportive evidence, then A represents analysis. This is what we call PESA system. Which means in each and every paragraph in which you are going to recite or in which you are going to explain, you need to give us a point, to give us an explanation about that point, to give us supportive evidence about that point, and also to give us a special analysis which is reflecting the general summary of what you were writing in your paragraph, not in your essay, in your paragraph. So all your paragraphs, they must contain all these 4 aspects, because these are the major terms in which examiners are going to track down for you to be called you are now competent for better marks. Yeah. So PESA system is something which is very easy to use. I'm going to teach you how to elaborate a point, how to put an explanation, how to put a supportive evidence, and the ideologies that supportive evidence. It is not a formidable or it is not an always issue, but what is needed, what is required, is the supportive evidence. Sometimes it will help you to detect major elements or major aspects. For example, the question was saying, to what extent has archaeology evidence assisted in the construction of Zimbabwe's prehistory? There are certain elements in which archaeologists use which are different from what oral tradition is proposing or is elaborating to the historians. So in that context, you need to show the scholarly evidence such that the examiner will understand your analysis. Altogether. Then after that, we have what we call, so in your paragraph, from one paragraph to another paragraph, candidates are alluded to use what we call connecting devices. How to get? What are connective devices? Connecting devices are words such as in addition, furthermore, to make matters worse, despite this, above all, to supplement the above thesis, to add on the other side of the coin, you be spicing your essay from one device to another device. We do not use the same device always, so that as we spice our essay, we are now able to what do we say? We are now able to lure more points from the examiner. We are now able to make it possible so that to make it possible for greater marks. Why? Because the examiner will see that this person is competent. He or she is making it to the top. Are we together? Then after that, we have what we call a conclusion. I think a conclusion is that a simpler paragraph in which you are entitled to write what you were writing in your essay in summary. Above all, an introduction, it is where individuals or where examiners need to recite or need to, so not to recite, need to require you to write your judgment. For example, the question was saying, to what extent has archaeological evidence assisted in the construction of Zimbabwean prehistory? How to get? So an examiner will need to know, are you saying archaeologists played a major role? Is it to a greater extent, are we gonna take archaeology, or is it to a lesser extent? This is the purpose of the conclusion. How to get? So this is how we do it.